I was the true heiress, a brilliant prodigy. But when I returned to the U family, everyone shunned me. In my despair, I suddenly found myself bound to a strange system called swagger. Was my task to win over my rich parents and cold older brother, to claim their love and affection? No, your job is to become the top scorer in the entire city for the upcoming university entrance exam. Master 6 languages, excel at playing the flute and violin, sing and publish 3 SCI papers before graduating high school. The system's voice echoed, cold as ice. I stared blankly at myself, unable to believe it. Me, I'm just the true heiress everyone despises. My parents and brother only love the fake heiress. At school, I'm bullied and assaulted. Just as I was about to give up and restart my life, I was suddenly bound by the system. Congratulations, host, you have successfully connected to the swagger system. The golden touch has finally arrived. I excitedly asked the system, so, is my mission to conquer my rich parents, my cold brother, and my arrogant childhood friend to gain both family affection and love? A chilling voice, coming from the system, resonated in my mind. If the system had a form, it would surely be rolling its eyes at me in contempt. What are you dreaming about, host? Your mission is clearly to achieve the top score in the university entrance exam, master 6 languages, excel at playing the flute, violin, and singing, and publish 3 SCI papers before graduation. Secondary mission: obtain a national athlete certificate and win first place in the National Physics Olympiad. The system's voice continued its flat, emotionless enumeration. I felt like a tiny demon assigned to harass Tripitaka and his disciples. Hesitantly, I pointed to myself. Is that really me? Yes, it is you. Phase 1 of your mission has begun. Achieve first place in your class this semester. Before I could fully process it, a black countdown timer flashed in my mind. Damn it, the system's gone crazy. I hadn't even had time to curse properly when I heard Auntie Zhang from downstairs calling me for breakfast and school. I hastily changed and went down. Catching sight of myself in the mirror, I realized I was too thin, almost malnourished. My face was dark and gaunt, with big, dark eyes that made me look somewhat scary. As I reached the living room, Serafina was already sitting elegantly at the dining table, sipping milk. "Oh dear, you're late again, sis," Serafina said with a soft, feigned, innocent smile. "If you're too slow, we won't wait. You'll have to find your own way to school." A tall, well-built young man stood directly in front of me, adjusting his uniform collar. His face exuded an air of refined arrogance, and his posture was perfectly straight. He tilted his head slightly, his eyes revealing undisguised disgust and disdain. This young man was my nominal older brother, Zane. I still vividly remembered the time I first arrived at the Yu family home. Every car ride was an ordeal of self-consciousness for me. Compared to a dark-skinned, scrawny country girl, Serafina, with her liveliness and sophistication, seemed like his true sister. Since it was the family car, there were 2 rows of back seats, and I always sat by myself in the very last row, watching them laugh and chat happily in the front seats. Serafina could freely dote on our brother, but me. Just the sound of a book slipping from my grasp and falling to the floor was enough to make Zane frown. I once tried to approach my brother. It was a very careful inquiry from an immature girl, but as soon as I spoke, I was met with Zane's impatient and harsh voice. "You wouldn't understand." It was as if a thick, invisible barrier separated them from me. In the past, I would try to sit in the back, listening, trying to find common ground with them. But now, the mission the system had given me was far too challenging. This time, I didn't cry and beg my brother for a ride. Instead, I picked up a sandwich from the table, waved, and said, "I'll take a public bike. You two can use the car. How can one study hard without a healthy body? From today, I've resolved to cycle 15 kilometers to school every day. On the way, I'll wear headphones to practice my English listening." The moment I stepped out the door, I felt a cold, scrutinizing gaze fixed directly on me, but I didn't look back. I pedaled the old public bicycle. Its clanking echoed on the road to school. Because it was my first time cycling, my speed wasn't very fast, and I ended up being late for school. The teacher wasn't particularly fond of poor students like me, so she made me stand outside the classroom. I earnestly pleaded, "Teacher, may I stand inside the classroom? I want to listen to the lesson." The teacher looked at me suspiciously several times. In her impression, I usually dozed off during most classes. Under my eager and sincere gaze, she agreed. I quickly entered the classroom and chose a spot to stand at the back of the aisle. It was a literature class, and I could understand the lesson relatively well. My hand swiftly glided across the paper, copying the teacher's lecture. Although some parts were still vague, literature truly required the accumulation of knowledge through consistent expression and note-taking to be effective. I realized that the subject teacher's trust in me was currently very low. To improve their impression, I not only focused on looking at the teacher, but also sometimes showed approval by nodding. The female teacher asked, "Have you all understood the lesson?" The entire classroom fell into absolute silence, only my voice rang out. "Yes, I understand." The literature teacher hesitated for a moment, then blurted out, "Look, even Yuri can grasp it, so the whole class must surely have understood the lesson, right?" A ripple of suppressed laughter spread throughout the room. I paid no mind, just smiled faintly and innocently. As the teacher continued the lecture, my note-taking was suddenly interrupted. A crumpled paper ball flew and hit my calf. I looked up, searching for who threw it, but found no clue. Then the number of crumpled paper balls thrown at me seemed to increase like a hailstorm. Some hit my calves, others my arms, and one even struck my face. The system angrily spoke, "Host, it's the one sitting behind you? How annoying." I wiped my face and then searched for the culprit. It was a boy in the last row, tilting his head and observing me. He was tall, with handsome eyebrows that subtly hinted at arrogance. It was Liam, the original body's fiancé. The Liang and Yu families had been betrothed since childhood. Liam was initially Seraphina's fiancé, but with my appearance, he naturally became mine. This made him unhappy, especially after Seraphina shed tears in front of him a few times, which only intensified his hatred for me to the core. He often colluded with Seraphina to lead bullying campaigns against me at school. The original body always endured in silence due to her weak and self-conscious nature, never daring to confront Liam. But I was different. I needed to study, and his constant harassment was obstructing my learning process. I quickly raised my hand. "Teacher, Liam is constantly causing trouble, preventing me from focusing on my studies. He's also throwing paper at me." The scattered paper balls at my feet were the most undeniable proof. The teacher stopped writing, glancing at the pile of paper at my feet. Liam's face showed a flicker of impatience, and he retorted curtly, "We'll settle this after class. You're not even studying, and you're trying to mess with me? Are you perhaps worried I'll surpass you?" As soon as I finished speaking, the entire classroom erupted in laughter. The teacher chuckled softly for a few moments, then made a remark to lighten the atmosphere. "That's entirely possible, isn't it? After all, Liam is usually second to last in the class." Liam's face turned beet red with anger, looking utterly pathetic, like a red-tailed sparrow with all its feathers plucked out. As soon as class ended, Liam, with a resentful expression, stormed straight to my desk. He arrogantly kicked my desk over, then stomped on my books. "Yuri, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Before you even stepped foot into the Yu family home, you were a lousy student. Now you're putting on an act like this, isn't it just to make me fall for you?" The young man's uniform jacket was open, revealing a black t-shirt underneath. He stood proudly, towering over me. His eyebrows conveyed arrogance mixed with a hint of smugness, as if the former me falling for him was the most obvious thing. However, I had no good impression of him whatsoever. Faced with his angry attitude, I calmly replied, "If you continue to disrupt my studies, I will go directly to your parents. You are hindering an ambitious high school student, you know." Liam's father was a respected local politician. He often appeared on TV shows. Previously, I was shy and self-conscious, and thought like a typical student, so I never dared to think about directly confronting other people's parents. The angry red-tailed sparrow hopped around chaotically for a while, then finally retreated and silently disappeared. After all, he was just an immature teenager, and his father was inherently authoritative, so he wouldn't dare cause big trouble in front of him. When Liam's harassment ceased, my school life temporarily returned to peace. I completely immersed myself in studying with fervent dedication, to the point where I even brought vocabulary books with me to the restroom. And when waiting in line for food, it goes without saying, I constantly muttered formulas to myself. Thanks to my relentless effort, in the first monthly exam, I managed to climb from the bottom of the class to 25th place. From the lowest rank in the entire grade, I had progressed to be among the top 400 students in the school. However, that still didn't complete the goal, because the mission the system had assigned me was to secure the top position in the entire class this semester. Because my progress was so outstanding, My homeroom teacher chose me as the model for a spectacular transformation story to be widely shared. The school also invited me to speak at the awards ceremony after the monthly exam to share my study tips. When I took my jacket out of my desk drawer, the school had stipulated that uniforms must be worn on stage. My blue and white uniform jacket now had a huge ink stain on it, making it look unsightly and messy. I didn't need to guess. I knew who the culprit was. I was just about to report this uniform jacket to the teacher. But due to the urgent timing, the teacher urged me to quickly go on stage. Reluctantly, I had to wear the stained jacket onto the stage. The moment I stepped onto the podium, all attention from below was drawn to my jacket. In just a flash, murmurs of chatter and laughter erupted from the audience. Is that really the one who broke through from the bottom of the rankings? Surely it's not cheating, right? Such a dirty uniform, how scandalous. I swept my gaze across the students below, tightening my grip on the microphone. Now, quickly start with fluent English. The system's voice, full of excitement and anticipation, boomed. After a month of studying, the system had even taken over my sleep time, providing stimulants in a special space to force me to train my listening and speaking skills. My current English ability had reached a level where I could directly translate my main speech. Anyway, in just this 1 month, I had absorbed nearly 10,000 vocabulary words. I took a deep breath and began my speech with an opening in accurate English. All the students were astonished. Because I spoke somewhat slowly, with a slight Chinese accent, some students with good comprehension exclaimed, "Oh my God, she seems to be quoting the Cuck speech, so fluent. Her English level must not have any difficulty communicating abroad, she's just showing off a bit." Showing off is truly effective. The atmosphere has now been pushed to a climax. Host, please remember, you are not an ordinary person. The system's voice became increasingly vibrant. Realizing that everyone was no longer paying attention to my jacket, I began to share what I truly wanted to. Everyone thought that my previous poor academic performance was due to my lack of interest in studying. They said I was inherently wayward, a lost girl. Please allow me to explain that the reason I couldn't attend school before was due to family circumstances. While my peers were diligently guided in their studies by their parents, when I turned 5, I had to drag a stool to prepare meals for the whole family myself. When my peers had winter and summer breaks to attend enrichment classes or explore to broaden their horizons, I had to trudge through every alley selling 5 yuan roses, one by one. If I didn't sell them, I would be punished. My peers enjoyed a peaceful learning environment with plenty of books and materials. Whereas I, whenever I returned home, not only carried countless chores but also faced the risk of, I didn't finish my sentence and slowly rolled up my uniform sleeve. This had always been a deep scar in my soul, a secret I had tried to hide for so long. All over my skinny arm were crisscrossing scars, raised and uneven flesh that looked utterly horrifying. They connected like long centipedes, evoking a sense of pain and despair. I had even been subjected to abuse. I noticed everyone in the audience taking a deep breath, their eyes all fixed on me. I had been abused by my stepmother at home. Because of my thin body, quiet personality, and lack of protection from relatives, I was also frequently a victim of school bullying. These marks were true evidence of my past life. It was during those days, immersed in despair, that I even contemplated giving up everything, resorting to negative thoughts. Liam, who was sitting in the first row, his amber eyes widened in astonishment at that moment. The face of the pampered, rich young master clearly showed dismay. I want to express my deepest gratitude for the opportunity to study here, a place with excellent faculty and an ideal educational environment. At the same time, I also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all my classmates who have given me a school life filled with camaraderie. From now on, I will seize every opportunity I have, striving continuously to learn and improve. I will make the flower of my life bloom and bear fruit on my own barren land. I looked up, offering a warm, benevolent smile to everyone. The applause from the audience was incessant. After this commendation ceremony, thanks to my resilience and strong will, I escaped the cycle of oppression and bullying. At the very least, Liam was no longer the ringleader of my tormentors. Whenever he saw me, his face showed a fleeting hint of remorse. Yet the young man stubbornly refused to admit it directly, his face flushed and neck veins bulging as he said, "Did you really struggle so much living with your foster parents? I won't tease you anymore." I'm not that kind of scumbag. I just held my vocabulary book and gave a slight nod, letting the matter pass. The system has detected that Liam's favorability score for you has increased by 10. Would you like to convert it into another attribute like memory? Convert it immediately. As soon as the favorability conversion was complete, Liam stood opposite me, his ears bright red, eyebrows furrowed, thin lips pressed tightly, and spoke loudly. But the bullying you suffered has nothing to do with Serafina. You absolutely must not cause trouble for Serafina. The system's efficiency is truly astounding, I merely whispered. Liam, do you have anything else to say? I sensed he did. Liam raised an eyebrow, the redness around his ears almost spreading across his handsome face. His eyebrows subtly lowered. The system's favorability score has increased by another 10 points. Do you want to convert it? Convert it now. Oh, I ranked 25th in this test while you're still at the top of the bottom. Heh. Indeed. The moment the words left my mouth, Liam's expression immediately darkened. His face turned red like a ripe apple covered in frost. He grunted and turned to leave. His unbuttoned uniform jacket swung hard against my desk, creating a dry asterisk thwack asterisk. The system exclaimed in surprise, his favorability index has increased by another 5 points. I then asked the system, why can favorability points be converted into attributes related to studying? And can other people's favorability do that too? If so, I plan to dance on TikTok to attract more fans. Host, please stop those baseless thoughts immediately. Only favorability points from people closely connected to the original host can be converted into attribute points. All right, I guess I'll have to put aside my dream of recruiting fans while diligently studying for now. Thanks to my excellent test results, my homeroom teacher even made a special call home to encourage me. However, upon returning to my warm home, I received no recognition whatsoever from the Yu family. The truth was, ever since I came back, Serafina had continuously found ways to make things difficult for me, and I, being inherently timid and self-conscious, was already disliked by Father Yu. Father Yu was an extremely pragmatic individual. He rarely showed affection to his children, only considering their utility. Serafina was elegant and clever, while Zane was calm and intelligent. Therefore, both of them were the ideal children Father Yu desired. Having suffered abuse, I had a somewhat clumsy appearance and demeanor. That was why Father Yu disliked my former self. Mother Yu took on the role of a homemaker. Although she had compassion for the original host, she still prioritized siding with her husband and sons when confronted by them. She focused on their opinions, not daring to express her own stance. At the dining table, Serafina casually brought up my academic results. I heard you ranked 25th in class this time, sister. What remarkable progress. It's truly a miracle. Indeed, thanks to the system within me, this is absolutely a miracle. Serafina elongated her words, her smile holding many hidden meanings. Did you perhaps copy someone's work? It's fine not to get high scores, but cheating would bring shame to our family. I'm afraid you've just returned home and aren't familiar with these rules yet. Her voice softened, sounding very innocent. Before I could react, the system in my mind was already incessantly scolding. System, Serafina, you're such a trashy opportunist. If I weren't a system, I'd rip your mouth off. System, host, don't provoke her. Doing so will deduct your virtue points. Focus on your studies first. When your mission is complete, there will naturally be an opportunity to deal with her. Zane paused for a moment, his gaze fleetingly sweeping over me before he casually withdrew it. What is he looking at? This has nothing to do with him. Father Yu, hearing Serafina finish her story, looked up, his face icy as he interrogated, Serafina is not wrong. Did you cheat in this exam? All eyes present were fixed on me. No, I didn't, I whispered in reply. Serafina immediately smiled. Zane also frowned tightly. I didn't do well on this exam, but I plan to rank first by the end of the semester, I said with a calm demeanor. How can that be? Your performance used to be so terrible, sister, Serafina challenged loudly. That's precisely why I've been studying diligently lately. Everyone can go into my room and check. I've completed 10 workbooks already. I smiled faintly. Indeed, this feeling of showing off is truly satisfying. Immediately, Mother Yu diffused the situation. That's right, I often see Yuri studying. Father Yu's expression softened slightly, hoping it was true. Only then did Zane begin to speak. Then later, come to my room and get 2 more sets of practice problems. These are some good ones I just found. Do them and show them to me, okay. The system once again displayed its arrogant attitude at this moment. I just realized this pompous system really enjoys sarcasm. Perhaps when it first linked with me, it wasn't truly harmonized. Now that we've been together for a long time, there isn't a day the system doesn't make sarcastic remarks. All right, I nodded gently in agreement. I still understood Zane's true intention. It wasn't to give me problems to do, but to test if I was cheating in my studies. Regardless, I wasn't afraid of being challenged. I had resolved not to sleep tonight. Now, even the time meant for sleep, I used for studying in the space provided by the system. To achieve the top position by the end of the semester, I poured all my effort into it. Host, don't forget we have another goal, to obtain the National Athlete Certificate. What sport do you plan to train in? From my perspective, I recommend long-distance running because it brings quick results, though it's a bit arduous and exhausting. Then let's do long-distance running. System, long-distance running training mission has begun. From now on, you'll have to run to school every day. You mean I have to run 15 kilometers from home to school and also carry a 5 kg backpack? Ah, system, no, the weight you have to carry isn't just 5 kg. System, first month 5 kg, second month 10 kg. Keep going, host, you are the tenacious Yuyuri. System, you better watch out. My current life was truly a string of hardships. Every morning, I watched Serafina and Zane leisurely ride to school in a luxurious car, while I had to carry a heavy load and run 15 kilometers. System, only those who can endure extreme hardship are truly extraordinary. Yet, in less than a month, my physical strength had genuinely improved significantly. My physique, from being skinny, became more toned. My movements were also much more flexible and agile. To complete the mission of obtaining the National Athlete Certificate, as requested by the system suggested I first enroll in the school's sports team. As a result, Liam and I stood facing each other in the gymnasium. Yuyuri, what are you up to now? I asked. System, what's your assessment of Liam? The system replied, haha, nothing special. Liam caught my silence, standing there in a daze. He probably thought I was looking down on him. His ears turned red and his voice grew louder and louder. You still regret me, don't you? Although I am currently your fiancé, my heart has already been given to Serafina. The system commented, he's a bit conceited, isn't he? System, his favorability score suddenly shot up again. I quickly exclaimed, convert, convert. This time, all my ability points were focused on strengthening my breakthrough power. Liam was also a member of the track and field team. He was the captain, but in reality, he was useless, joining mainly to skip classes. I genuinely started training with the track and field team. However, things were not smooth at all. Because I was a new member, coupled with the stories from Liam, the other members of the track and field team mistakenly believed that I was only interested in romance and that my presence there was because of Liam. Serafina frequently brought water to Liam. Her green tea remarks deliberately implied that I was the third party. This caused the remaining members of the track team to misunderstand me. Fortunately, their way of bothering me only went as far as isolating, avoiding, and speaking ill of me. I remained completely silent, simply training tirelessly. The opportunity to prove my abilities came at the City Sports Festival when the coach wanted to select a female member from the team to compete. The system urged me to fill out the application form. The moment I completed submitting the form, it stirred up a huge storm. Due to their antagonistic relationship and underlying hatred for me, the members of the track and field club immediately surrounded me in the changing room. Serafina was also there. She just joined. What right does she have to apply? Didn't she join because of Liam? Does she also want to seize this city-level competition spot? The captain of the girls' track team pushed me, saying furiously. Serafina then added fuel to the fire. Sister, quickly withdraw your application. How can you take away the opportunity to compete from those who have trained hard for so long? I replied. Isn't our team about to have a selection trial? Whoever wins gets to go. Even if I submitted the application, what if I don't win? The track team captain fell silent. Are you all afraid you can't beat me? I swept my gaze over each member of the track team with a suspicious look. The track and field team leader immediately shook her head vehemently in protest. How can that be? We've trained longer than you. I folded my arms across my chest and replied, then what else is there to say? The track team captain didn't know that I regularly ran 15 km. Meanwhile, Serafina, who leisurely rode in a Mercedes-Benz every day, had witnessed everything and knew my true abilities. Seeing the captain about to give in, Serafina hastily interjected, "That won't do. What if she's secretly training? Or how about we just break her leg?" The moment Serafina uttered those words, everyone present was stunned. The track team captain was even more astonished, her eyes wide and mouth agape. Could it really be? This method is too cruel. System, she seems to have gone insane. Of course, Serafina's proposal could not be approved, but her slip of the tongue caused some of her supporters in the school to change their attitudes. System, don't worry about Serafina, she's just a silly entertainer. System, host needs to engrave in your heart that your ultimate goal is always self-improvement to reach places with richer resources. Next, after submitting the application, came the internal track and field competition. Of course, I didn't participate in that competition. The reason was that Serafina secretly put medicine in my milk that day. All morning, I had to repeatedly go to the restroom due to diarrhea. I had to accept forfeiting. System, why didn't you stop her? System, what's the point of stopping her? I never intended for you to participate in this competition anyway. System, and Liam saw her put the medicine in, didn't he? Now Liam's favorability index for you has soared even higher. System, this part has automatically been converted into attribute points for you. The affection of the strong gender is just worthless. The system had not allowed me to compete in this competition. The system explained to me that going to school to train was just a superficial reason. In reality, it had used big data to identify a suitable training center for me. I then, under the name of that training center, registered to compete at the provincial level, waiting until I achieved results to potentially obtain a national level 2 athlete certificate. I wondered, system, do you really have to be that cunning? System, you fool, do you know what the peak of showing off is? She deliberately pretends to be helpless, then suddenly appears and makes those people lose face. Based on the system's guidance, along with the enhanced attributes and arduous training, I achieved quite good results. While I was waiting for my national level 2 athlete certificate to be issued, Serafina continued to fabricate stories and spread malicious rumors about me. From a certain perspective, I found Serafina to be very persistent. However, that persistence was misplaced. System, I found a good spot for Serafina. System, don't you think this person is especially suited to be an online keyboard warrior? Perhaps when she stops targeting you and switches to being a keyboard warrior, it will help her live more authentically. Serafina went to her close group of friends to spread nasty rumors about me, claiming I went to the gym but was actually just looking for Liam. Liam and Serafina are clearly childhood sweethearts, yet she brazenly interferes in other people's relationships. Doesn't she see herself as a green tea? Just as I was about to protest, Liam's loud voice echoed from outside the classroom. Everyone, stop fabricating stories. It's true that I don't have good feelings for Yuri, but she has never once expressed that she likes me either. She genuinely went to participate in sports training, and as for why she didn't join the competition, I think Serafina certainly knows best. Liam spoke with a decisive tone, his sharp, leopard cub-like eyes quickly glancing at Serafina. Serafina's face instantly turned pale, her almond-shaped eyes immediately welled up, looking as if she was about to burst into tears. She seemed to feel extremely aggrieved and flustered when Liam stood up to defend me. Those around us immediately cast suspicious glances at Liam and me, as if there really was something ambiguous between us. Serafina hastily covered her face and fled the room. I saw the scrutinizing glances from everyone and quickly denied any involvement. She's crying entirely because Liam made her angry. This has nothing to do with me at all. Since school started, Liam and I haven't even talked to each other. I don't even have a phone, for goodness sake. I spread my hands wide, feigning utmost innocence. Just as those around me were still suspicious that my sports training had some ulterior motive, the bell rang. The homeroom teacher walked in and handed me my national athlete certificate in front of all the students in the class. Yuri, you have your athlete certificate now. Come up and receive it. Yes, thank you, teacher. The entire classroom fell into absolute silence. From behind, Liam let out a cold snort. So this is what they call not training properly in sports. Those who dare to say others don't train properly should slap themselves twice. System, excellent, displaying grand success once again. Having just completed a staged mission, I had gained a large amount of skill points. Since I had shamed her, Serafina seemed to have realized that she could no longer damage my reputation at school. However, she still had another arena to compete in, the Yu family home. Zane adored her. Although he was the original host's biological brother, he always supported Serafina. I couldn't understand why, so I asked the system, why is Zane clearly my biological brother, yet he has never sided with me? System, you fool, you carry the blood of the Yu family. You hold inheritance rights to their assets. No matter what you do, he won't like you because you will compete with him for property. System, host, remember, what you need to seize is not affection and respect. As long as you hold power and assets, love and respect will naturally come to you. I suddenly realized, recalling the time before the system, I used to delude myself into thinking my brother would accept me. I was truly too naive. When I returned home, I thought that since I had a national athlete certificate, Father and Mother Yu would surely praise me a little. But Father Yu coldly replied, I've already heard Serafina talk about this. As a member of the Yu family, you don't need to pursue such useless things, wasting time on sports training. You just need to focus on studying hard and not bring shame upon us. Look at your brother. This time, he's ranked first in the entire school and is even preparing to participate in the physics Olympiad. System, host, you should also participate in the Olympiad and return to completely humiliate them. In my space, there are renowned masters to guide you. I will arrange it for you immediately. Thanks to the system's comfort, I didn't take Father Yu's harsh words to heart. I just quietly returned to my room and began studying physics in my private space. While diligently studying, I silently thanked the system. System, I'm so lucky to have you here. If it weren't for you, I would surely still be agonizing over my father's lack of love. The system replied, you don't need to worry. No matter what achievements you make, he won't praise you. His nature is already petty. The system added, host, of course, you also need to try your best, because only when you complete the missions can I collect energy, and at the same time, your attributes will also increase. This is a win-win partnership. At this point, a slight question arose in my mind about this system. System, then why among such a vast sea of people did you choose me and not Zane? Isn't he smarter? The system explained, because you have all the elements to create the best program effect, of course. With a tragic background, an attractive appearance, and a certain strength, you are sure to become a classic, beautiful, strong, and tragic archetype, and from that, I will collect more energy. The system added, it can be understood that we are beings from different dimensions, and I chose this system job to intervene and change the lives of people in lower dimensions. When we receive affection from the audience, we can not only receive rewards but also collect energy. The system supplemented, each system has its own method of collecting energy, and the way I get energy is through you completing missions. My curiosity grew even stronger. System, do you mean you are a being from a higher dimension? What do you look like? The system replied with a somewhat nonchalant tone, I probably look somewhat similar to humans, but we are superior to humans and we have tentacles. You wouldn't be able to imagine it. Don't ask any more questions. Focus on studying physics well. It seemed the system didn't want to reveal more about itself, so I buried my head in my studies. I was incredibly grateful to the system, and at the same time, I resolved to study even harder so that the system could collect more and more energy. Due to my greatly improved memory and comprehension ability, my study efficiency increased day by day, coupled with the time I had. I had completely mastered the necessary knowledge to participate in the physics Olympiad. Therefore, I also registered for the competition. Zane and I were placed in the same Olympic preparation class. When Zane saw me, his usually cold face fleetingly showed a hint of wariness. He spoke indifferently, your basic knowledge is too weak, you're not suited to pursue Olympic physics. Don't bring shame to the Yu family. System, the hypocrite, clearly he's just worried you'll surpass him. The system urged, all right, I'll give you a professional training package. I replied, oh, system, you're amazing. The system explained, all of that is converted from the energy you've earned for me. Thanks to the system's help, I easily surpassed Zane. Although Zane showed no outward signs, inwardly he was extremely anxious. I diligently studied day and night. While the system could enhance my intelligence and extend my time, it couldn't exert effort on my behalf. Zane's anxiety was useless as my performance continued to outshine his. Noticing that we were siblings, the teacher suggested we form a team to participate in the national competition. Zane spoke up, don't you dare hold me back. System, this show-off, he's just an ornament. I smiled modestly. Talents in the world are as numerous as autumn leaves. After participating in the competition, I realized that although Zane seemed excellent at school, In the national competition, he became a hindrance to me. If it weren't for the system's support, I probably would have lost. I won the gold medal on behalf of our provincial team. This gold medal allowed automatic admission to a prestigious university. The system announced, "Host, you've won the gold medal, so you don't need to take the university entrance exam anymore." I asked again, "But didn't you assign me the mission of becoming the top scorer in the entire city?" The system hesitated. "You've been studying so hard lately. I think you should just accept this direct admission. Don't overexert yourself." The system was starting to feel sorry for me again. It was true. Lately, after every hair wash, the entire floor was covered in fallen hair. My brain working nonstop all day made my whole body feel like it was about to turn into an idiot. As the system and I were immersed in the joy of winning the gold medal, I suddenly realized something. The ultimate goal the system had assigned me was to achieve the top title in the upcoming university entrance exam. So, if I didn't take the exam, would the system disappear? I decided to ask the system a question. Will you always be with me? Without the system, I wouldn't be who I am now. But I couldn't have imagined that I would be so reluctant to part with this system. After a moment of silence, the device announced, "I am collecting resources. My energy accumulation bar is gradually reaching its maximum thanks to you. Once full, I will no longer be here." The moment I heard those words, an indescribable sense of emptiness spread through my mind. It was as if warm emotions were slowly dissolving. I didn't want to part with this entity. To me, it was both a guide and a precious companion. Suddenly, a selfish thought flashed through my mind. What if its energy bar never fills up and it stays with me forever? However, I quickly dismissed that idea, realizing I couldn't force this entity's existence just for my personal desires. As if sensing my emotional slump, it gently reassured me. "Come on, don't be sad. We don't belong to the same space to begin with. Walking a part of the journey together and achieving results, isn't that incredibly valuable? I will gladly reveal my identity. My real name isn't System, you can call me Stellar." Does that sound normal? I genuinely didn't know what else to say. The device debated with me for a long time. While interacting with it, my expressions often seemed quite foolish. Soon, someone interrupted our quiet atmosphere. It was my father, Mr. Yu. Although he was my father by name, this was the first time he had called me into his private study, a place that symbolized the family's prosperity and authority. I had mistakenly thought that perhaps my father had finally decided to share a part of the Yu family's assets with me. To my surprise, I saw my father, who was managing the family business, and my brother, the future successor, sitting on a black leather sofa. Father Yu's voice rang out decisively and coldly. "Your school has one overseas study slot. I've discussed it with the principal and decided that this prestigious Olympic gold medal scholarship will go to your brother. This way, your brother can start his studies a year earlier and participate in supporting the company sooner. Furthermore, your brother's profile greatly needs experience from this direct overseas study program, especially as our family business is focusing on advanced technology. You don't need to be sad. When the time comes, I will deposit $300,000 into your account for you to buy clothes and splendid jewelry. Don't dress so plainly anymore." Father Yu looked directly at me with a tone that allowed no room for objection. Zane, the beneficiary of this scheme, sat beside him with an arrogant air, not even sparing me a glance. I kept my mouth shut, but the system in my head was almost going crazy. "System, what is this? Are these people insane? What good is 300,000 yuan? The value of this overseas study opportunity cannot be exchanged even for 3 million yuan. System, they want to seize your benefits and still pretend to be generous. I really can't take this anymore. What kind of father is this? Even if I disagree with them, it won't solve anything." It's clear Father Yu has already arranged it with the higher-ups. "System, on what grounds do they steal your resources? This wretched father is not needed. Host, tear off their masks now. I will boost your power. Go over there and give each of them a slap." I looked at my so-called father and brother, feeling utterly disgusted. "I want to sever all ties with you all. When I returned to the Yu family, my household registration was still with my foster mother, wasn't it? I want to cut off all connections with abominable people like you." My voice was completely unruffled. "System, truly worthy of Yuri, cut ties with these scumbags." Perhaps it was because my tone was too calm, or perhaps it was because my expression was full of contempt. Father Yu could not accept that someone from the lowest stratum of the family dared to oppose him. His eyes instantly bulged, and his hand slammed onto the armrest of the sofa, creating a sharp asterisk thwack asterisk. He immediately stood up. He raised his hand, intending to strike me. "You ungrateful wretch, do you think we wanted to bring you back? If we weren't afraid of outsiders using you to cause trouble, would someone like you, raised by the lower class to be corrupt, be worthy of standing before us? You say I'm useless, yet your son even has to steal my overseas study opportunity. Isn't your son even weaker?" I retorted. The moment I finished speaking, Zane lunged and grabbed my hair. The bone-deep pain from my scalp being violently yanked made me let out a small gasp. "Stellar, rip them apart, beat them into pig heads. I will now convert all energy into martial power for you." Immediately, an inexhaustible source of energy surged, spreading through every corner of my body. Without hesitation, I landed a punch directly on Zane's face, the one still gripping my hair. The blow was so powerful that I felt his face seemed to deform. Zane staggered back 2 steps, then fell unconscious right there. "End all contact immediately, or I will report all your actions. I absolutely do not want any more ties with your family," I said, raising my clenched fist. Father Yu took a small step back, his voice slightly trembling, but he still tried to maintain a strong exterior despite his weak resolve. "I'll have someone handle this. From this moment on, you are no longer a member of the Yu family." I dusted off my punching hand in response. No one wants to be a member of the Yu family anyway. As I walked out of the study, I saw Serafina in a light-colored dress, elegantly and gracefully waiting outside. Her voice sounded sweet, but her expression held a mocking, sarcastic sneer. "It seems you just had a big argument with father and second brother, didn't you, sis? That's great. It saves me the trouble of finding a way to push you out." The moment she finished speaking, she adjusted her outfit and quickly shifted to an expression full of pity and worry. I watched her rush into the study, frantically calling out to Zane, who lay unconscious on the floor. "Brother Zane, brother," I thought to myself, shouldn't the first thing to do be to call 911? After leaving the Yu family home, I tried to contact the system. After many continuous calls, it took a long while for the system to slowly respond. The sound that came out was incredibly weak. "System, don't call anymore, please don't call anymore. I've consumed too much reserve energy." Was it because he converted the martial power points for me? An indescribable feeling of regret surged in my heart. "System, we do not advocate using violence to counter violence. This is a society governed by law, and I violated the rules, so I have been punished." I asked again, "Punished for what?" "System, actually, it's just a matter of having 2 tentacles cut off. It's nothing significant. These things can regrow on their own. In the future, if there's an opportunity, I'll give you a couple of the severed tentacles as souvenirs, okay?" The more he spoke, the more distraught I felt. Before, I hadn't shed a single tear, but when I heard the system was damaged, I truly felt immense pain. "Quickly assign me more tasks. I'll do them to collect energy for you." The system remained silent, seemingly in pain itself, only emitting a soft hiss. When I left the Yu family home, all I had on me was my ID card and a small sum of money. The top priority was to find temporary accommodation. The system and I walked down the bustling street. Night had fallen, and a bright, full moon shone clearly against the inky black sky. Yes, the gentle moonlight peacefully illuminated our path. I walked in silence, conversing with the system in my mind. "Brother Stellar, please don't worry too much. Even though I no longer have the opportunity to study abroad this time, in return, I've escaped that awful Yu family. Moreover, by chance, I can participate in the university entrance exam and strive to be the top scorer in the entire city to collect energy for you." The system's annoyed voice rang in my ear. "Didn't I see you struggling too much? I had just decided to stop the mission at the direct admission offer. Do you think being the top scorer in the entire city is an easy feat? If you spend 18 out of 24 hours studying every day, I'm afraid you still won't manage it." Although the system's tone was full of sternness, I knew it still had a kind heart. I smiled lightly. "No problem at all. I'm already used to a high intensity of studying. Brother Stellar, please wait for me to accumulate energy for you." Stellar replied smugly. "All right." Father Yu soon severed all family ties with me, and finally the household head's name in the household register belonged to me. Of course, as he threw the household register at me, he still put on an act, saying, "Don't you dare regret it. This you family will never take you back." My mother, clearly siding with my father and eldest brother, tearfully and worriedly said as I left, "You just need to apologize to them, and everything will be fine." I paid no mind to her words. She might have feelings for me, but that love wasn't strong enough to make her resilient. Brother Stellar gradually paid less attention to me. Due to dwindling energy, the time he could talk to me each day became extremely limited. Learning support effects could also no longer be provided to me. I had to rely on myself to study and strive. I still remembered the foreign language learning task Brother Stellar had assigned. Therefore, I decided to learn Japanese and Korean. I searched for and followed online courses. The task didn't require me to master them completely. Simply acquiring enough knowledge was sufficient. I used the time to learn quickly, hoping this would add more energy points for Stellar. Since I severed all ties with the Yu family, Liam sought me out one day. The young man, his face flushed like a ripe apple, looked incredibly bright in the sunlight. It seemed he had gathered all his courage and spoke clearly. "I've learned about Seraphina's actions, and I also heard that you've been abandoned by the Yu family. However, I particularly admire your perseverance and determination. I myself don't like the Liang family, but I can't sever ties with them. If it's convenient for you, I'm willing to help you. My father has reviewed your results and believes you are very promising. I can intervene to ensure the Yu family no longer bothers you." Seeing his clear and sincere eyes, I gently gasped and replied, "Oh, thank you." Liam immediately showed evident joy. His eyebrows and eyes sparkled. Stellar, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly sent me a message. "Brother Stellar sent, this guy must have fallen for you. His favorability is soaring. Convert it into energy for me. Stellar Yuri, you must remember this. Don't get entangled in romance with men, because later countless people will adore you. When you truly become outstanding, everyone will naturally gravitate towards you." This system was so confusing. A moment ago, it told me that feelings were meaningless, and now it was painting a picture of countless people being infatuated with me. I couldn't help but let out a soft chuckle. "System, I have a secret I want to tell you. Stellar, don't tell me you once had hopes for Liam?" That's right. When I first returned to live with the Yu family, I wasn't liked by anyone. I only knew I had someone betrothed to me on paper. The Cinderella girl living in the room under the stairs once dreamed that this fiancé would be like a prince descending from the sky to rescue her. Until the moment I opened the classroom door at school. The bucket of water placed on the door poured down. The bone-chilling cold completely woke Cinderella from her dream when she saw the mocking look in the eyes of the one they called her fiancé. It was then that I realized that craving affection from others was just a pipe dream. I treated this story like a joke and recounted it to Stellar. I intended to lighten the mood with Brother Stellar and perhaps hear some sarcastic remarks from this sharp-tongued system. Unexpectedly, he said this wasn't funny at all. Brother Stellar said, "Yuri, if only you were from the same dimension as me, you would have 8 tentacles to slap them all one by one." Indeed, the Liang family took action to help me avoid further harassment from the Yu family. Thanks to this, I had a peaceful period to focus on studying for the university entrance exam. When the results were announced, I had the honor of becoming the top scorer in the entire city. The moment I knew my score, emotions surged, making me just want to burst into tears. When I first returned to the Yu family, I was incredibly fragile, but ever since Stellar appeared, he taught me that instead of wasting effort chasing other people's affections, I should diligently pursue greater goals. Now, this achievement of being the city's top scorer could add more energy to Stellar. I understood that the day I would have to bid farewell to the system was probably not far off. However, I never anticipated that the separation would be so heartbreaking. Ever since the news of my title as the city's top scorer spread, I suddenly received special attention. The media sought me out for interviews, and businesses contacted me, wanting to offer financial support. Liam's father was truly cunning. He cleverly brought up the story of my expulsion from the Yu family to create public outcry, intending to use this opportunity to attack the Yu family. Since the Yu family unilaterally broke off the engagement with the Liang family had harbored the intention of annexing the Yu family. Immediately, public opinion on social media became extremely negative towards the Yu family. There were accusations of mixing up the true and false heiress, treating the adopted child like gold and silver, favoring sons over daughters. All kinds of criticisms from the public poured in. However, these things didn't affect me at all. I didn't care one bit about the Yu family's affairs. I only cared about the system. Every day I would ask the system, "Stellar, when are you leaving?" The system replied, "Why do you keep repeating that question? Do you want me to disappear quickly?" I said, "No, it's not that. I just want to know if we'll ever have a chance to meet again." The system then said, "All right, little girl, go take a shower and go to bed early." Did the system no longer have any expectations for me? Stellar once advised, "Don't dream illusory dreams about things that have no end. Live fully in the present. Don't be too melancholic. Bravely continue on your path." I shook my head gently, keeping my deepest secret hidden without revealing it. This was because my becoming the center of attention had severely impacted the Yu family's reputation, and their stock value had also plummeted. Zane decided to act against me. He chose the most despicable method, destroying my reputation. If an unfavorable video about this top student's private life were obtained, no matter how talented she would face harsh criticism for the rest of her life in current society. This world has countless individuals, and there is no shortage of ignorant and narrow-minded people. They especially enjoy tearing down talented individuals, often whispering to each other that, although that person is brilliant, their personal life is not very clean. If you keep protecting her, why don't you just marry her? Are you also that kind of person? This scheme was truly shameful, yet extremely effective. Neither Stellar nor I could have imagined that someone in the position of a future CEO candidate could resort to such a lowly method. That's why, when we were completely caught off guard, I was kidnapped by those people. A sharp blade was held against my throat, and I forced myself to stay calm to negotiate with the kidnappers. "What do you want? If you want money, I'm willing to pay double the amount whoever hired you offered." The cold blade pressed against my collar. The man opposite me narrowed his eyes, smiled, and replied, "Little girl, if you cooperate, we'll be gentle. Our goal is to send a video." I thought that Brother Stellar would fly into a rage and unleash a torrent of reproaches in my ear, as he usually did. In my mind, I expected the familiar noisy scolding. But at that moment, Brother Stellar's voice was incredibly calm and steady. It seemed he had just made a pivotal decision. Inside the cold, dim warehouse, 6 menacing men stood before me. They uttered vulgar words, but I couldn't make out anything clearly. My mind now only registered Brother Stellar's voice. That voice was both warm and decisive. "All energy will be converted to Yuyuri to enhance the Chosen One's overall abilities to their peak." A beep-beep sounded, followed by a soft, "I'm sorry, I cannot accompany you any longer." Brother Stellar's voice suddenly cut off, but a digital sound in his place interrupted. "Yuyuri, all your attributes have been pushed to their peak time limit, exactly 1 day." My heart suddenly skipped a beat. Every smallest action of the men right in front of me became crystal clear. I could even discern every vein and muscle on their bodies, knowing their weak points to incapacitate them. Looking up at the sharp blade right before my eyes, tears continued to stream down my cheeks. Stellar, my beloved, is no longer by my side. Grabbing the dagger from the attacker's hand, I dodged every dangerous blow, and based on the principle of legitimate self-defense, I neutralized all 6 men. About 30 minutes later, I presented myself at the police station to submit the necessary evidence. When the case of hiring people to cause trouble was revealed, Zane was immediately arrested. Under extreme public pressure, the Yu family went bankrupt. Serafina, once the precious young lady of the Yu family, now faced the burden of the family's debts, forced to work hard alongside father and mother Yu. Zane was truly utterly contemptible. He and Serafina had long maintained an improper relationship. Serafina was now tightly bound to the fate of the Yu family. The home she once desperately wanted to cling to ultimately became a place from which she could not escape. I still hadn't revealed to Stellar that I intended to study in a top-tier physics department. Even without the system's help, I never stopped improving myself. I continuously absorbed knowledge and always strived upwards. Because Stellar once said, "My purpose in life is not to receive affection, but whether it's the central task of life or small goals, their ultimate destination is self-love." During my studies, I joined a group. The members of the group often shared stories related to systems, but I couldn't determine what was real and what was fiction. I rarely contributed until a certain woman came to meet me herself. Her eyes were clear and her voice was soft and gentle. "Hello, I'm Iris. Are you looking to find the system again? You're welcome to join us." "Tisk, Stellar," a colleague's voice rang out in the room, thick with countless wires and bathed in a blue light. "This mission of yours completely failed. You didn't collect any energy for the host. You will be punished. After this, you will only have 2 tentacles left. Figure out how to manage yourself well. You were warned not to develop feelings for the host. Our purpose is to collect energy, not to be a savior. I don't think this job suits you." The black-haired young man, Stellar, looked up, his handsome face showing no sign of concern. 8 pale gray tentacles behind his back lifted from the keyboard, slowly unfolding like an umbrella. "All right, the central brain has transferred you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to establish friendly relations with other dimensions." Stellar wiped away a tear that wasn't supposed to be there. A high-level being like him shouldn't know how to cry. But why did his heart ache so much? Here, emotions were unnecessary. Everyone acted rationally and steadily performed the tasks assigned by the main brain. Clearly, before accepting the mission, all his tests had been outstanding, achieving an S rank. Stellar entered the punishment area as usual, then calmly accepted his assignment at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His 2 tentacles no longer needed to type on a keyboard, only silently waiting for responses from other dimensions, year after year. Stellar gave a bitter smile, muttering to himself that perhaps he had truly gone mad. Choosing Yuyuri was an unexpected turn of events. Immediately after taking office, he had chosen a host from countless candidates. This was like a lucky draw. He had originally wanted to choose someone more outstanding and powerful, but then he drew Yuyuri. She was an SSR he had personally nurtured. She belonged to no one but herself, a free Yuyuri always moving forward. Instead of hiding the rose for himself, he wished for it to shine brightly. If only I could watch over her a little longer. The technology here wasn't advanced enough to traverse dimensions. Stellar lingered, his tentacles tapping repeatedly on the silent computer screen. He made a decision. Perhaps he should go to the science research department. Who knew, maybe there would be a miracle. The moment Stellar stood up, the computer suddenly emitted a small asterisk beep. The sound was very faint, but Stellar's gaze unconsciously fixed on the screen, and his heart suddenly leaped. This was the first greeting signal from Planet M, from the blue planet.